All right, welcome everybody to the third episode of Off Court Connection presented by Hall Pass Media. I am so excited to have Warriors head coach of gaming, Mike Newton, on with us, and then communication manager, Caden Kinard. Thanks for being here today, guys.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're excited.
All right, but before we jump in, I just want to say that our hearts and prayers go out to everyone being affected by what's going on in our world today, from the coronavirus to the racial injustices in our country. Our hearts and prayers are with George Floyd's family. We're all experiencing a time of awakening and growth, and we want everyone watching to know that we are all in this together to fight systemic racism, and we're looking forward to a time when we can all come together as a sports community again. I mean, our show, Off Court Connection, is meant to be just that. We want to bring you guys connection during these times. So I really appreciate everyone watching and just want everyone to know that we are here as a Summer League family for you. So with that being said, how are you guys doing? What have you been doing to pass the time during quarantine? Caden, I know you just got a haircut finally.
A little tight, but you know what? It's fresh. It's good. I was outdoors. And what we're doing is doing a lot of video games and a lot of work. People either aren't working as much or working too much. I'm in the work too much, but that's blessed right now to be in that category.
Love it. Yeah, it's a blessing to still be working and have something to do, pass the time in a good way. Mike, how about you? I saw you out on a bike ride. I've been bike riding too, but my views aren't the ocean or a lake or whatever that was. What have you been up to?
For sure. So I'm not as lucky as Caden. You know, I couldn't get my hair cut, so that's why I got a hat on. I don't want to get scruffy or rough. But yeah, I've been trying to get outdoors more. You know, it's my first year in California, so just trying to enjoy the weather. I have taken a couple of Lyft bike rides and got some good ocean views. Just being able to enjoy that time. But yeah, basically just like Caden, just working and then enjoying my time out. So.
Yeah, and you say it's your first year in California. That's because you just got a new role. So you are transitioning. Tell us about your role as the head coach of Warriors Gaming, but you're transitioning into now a virtual world. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so, you know, the first opportunity I got was with the Santa Cruz Warriors, as you see across my shirt, you know, as a basketball operations / player development on staff. So basically what that entailed was, you know, anything from rebounding for guys, helping them with paperwork, all types of benefits, things of that nature. And then I was presented the opportunity, you know, to become the Warriors gaming squad head coach. So it's been a huge change, obviously from, you know, real life basketball to virtual basketball, but it's been great. Right now we're 6-1. We have lost our last game, and then we're just in a tournament, and we went 2-2. So it's not the outcome that we wanted, but like I said, we've been off to the best start in Warriors gaming history. So just trying to keep that up, keep our guys humble, and continue to work hard.
Yeah. How do you train and strategize from going from like players in real life and being able to be there with them to in a gaming situation?
So it was tough, you know, especially for me coming from the Santa Cruz Warriors, you know, working on scouting reports, working guys out, you know, being able to hold guys accountable on the court, and then coming into a new space where everything is virtual. You know, if a guy doesn't, you know, practice hard, which is, you know, kind of funny to even think about, but if a guy's not practicing hard, he's not focused, you can't make him get on the line and run suicides, right? So our practices and our guys are actually practicing right now, but they're just scrimmages. So what we do is like a best of 3. Where we'll have another team. So for instance, right now we're playing the Kings, and we'll just, whoever's first 1 and 2 wins, they win that scrimmage. And, you know, as far as game planning goes, I take it the same as I take it in real life basketball. So, you know, I use NBAcontent.com where they'll have all of the, you know, games online, and then I'll just cut up the film, and then we'll watch it as a team and just go from there as far as strategy goes.
Yeah. And you mentioned you can't really make them run suicide. But you mentioned before we started the broadcast, you saw someone disciplining their players. Can you tell us a little bit of how they did that?
Yeah, so, you know, coming in, you know, I love the whole guys accountable, you know, and I think when you think of teams, right, the better teams are the teams that, you know, the players hold them accountable. So it's player driven as opposed to coach driven. So, you know, I've always been in this rocking a hard place of how can I make these guys, you know, be accountable without having to reward them. You know, my guys, they're big on money, right? So if I say, hey, I'll buy you guys dinner if you do this through a screen, and they'll do it. but obviously I don't want to do that. So I happened to hop on Instagram, I think it was 2 days ago, and it's all over the web now, where this guy had a my player, so his one individual player, and I guess after a game, his guy missed 7 shots, and you hear this guy yelling at the screen like, you want to come out and play like this, and he's literally making this guy run suicides virtually. So I thought that was kind of cool. Like, obviously, his physical, like his actual being, like him being a person, is not being punished in a sense, but making his my player run was actually cool to see. So.
I love it. I feel like it's going to be more of that. I mean, it's just rising so fast. So I feel like they are going to incorporate those disciplines and certain things. I think it's going to be really fun to watch. Have you had to change up your workload, or were you always working from home? Now you're working from home. Where were you working at? How's that going?
So the way 2K worked, so first off, with us getting a new facility, the Chase Center, where the Golden State Warriors play, before they were in Oakland. So, we had an actual, facility. Right now, we don't have a facility for our 2K players. So they actually practice at their apartment. So right now, the league rules don't allow us to allow coaches to be in the same space as them. So right now, I have to practice. I have to watch them virtually. So, I'll watch them in a streaming website called Discord. So like right now, before I hopped on this call, I was on my phone just watching them virtually. But once COVID starts to really slow down and, the league allows us to be in the room with the guys, their apartment is literally a 3-minute walk. So I walk over there and just watch them play.
Yeah, and Caden, you mentioned you've been gaming a little bit. Has that involved 2K at all? Are you doing any of that?
I since this is an NBA show, I will say yes. I have been playing 2K.
Right answer.
Mike, I'm super curious, the coaching dynamic. How does that work compared to, like, say, a traditional NBA team compared to what you're going through now with this e-gaming? How does that dynamic shifted? What's different about it? What's the same? I'm super interested.
For sure. So in the sense of the gaming world, right? Like in real life, guys are more reluctant, to take in advice, or if I give them feedback, they're willing to take it in. With me not having the best 2K background, so I've played 2K, but I'm not huge into the my player until I became the head coach. It was a lot of things that I didn't know. So players would use that against me and say, this is just how the game works, or that's just a glitch in the game. It's nothing I can do about it. So now I'm in like month 3 or 4 where I've seen these things happen over and over again, so they can't really get over on me as much. But I constantly battle that, and even this morning, hey, like we need to come out strong. And some of my players are like, that's just the game. It just happened to be that way. They got the momentum. So it's definitely that mental approach of our guys being able to take feedback and understand that you may know how to play the game, but from my view, I'm watching everything. I have a broader view, and my feedback combined with my basketball IQ in real life can really help in the world of 2K. And I think they're starting to grasp that, and it's growing over time. But it's definitely a battle.
Yeah. Mike, I know you did have that extensive background in the NBA, and then you kind of got into 2K non-traditionally. Will you tell us that story of how that job kind of came about?
For sure. So, like I stated before, I got offered the Santa Cruz job. And how I got the Santa Cruz job was before this. I was working with the Milwaukee Bucks G League affiliate, the Wisconsin Herd, and I met some of the Santa Cruz staff. So when I was at Summer League, my role in Summer League was basically to help people, the media guys help with autographs and all the backstage stuff. And I happened to run back into, Santa Cruz staff. And with that, I was able to, converse with them and not even really a long conversation. It was just like a 3 to 5 minute talk of, hey, how you doing? Just catching up. And then they realized I was, looking for a new job or a new opportunity. So without Summer League, I wouldn't have probably ran into the staff again, and this wouldn't even come about. So, a couple months passed, and I spoke with the GM, Ryan Atkinson, and he offered me a Santa Cruz job. And then I would say like 2 weeks later, he texts me and says, do you play 2K? This is just out of the blue. So I'm with my dad at the time, and I'm like, my GM just reached out to me, asking if I play 2K. And I'm thinking he wanted me to be on the team. So I'm like, this is not that, like, I'm not that good at 2K. Like, I played it, but So we talked a little bit, and, you know, I just basically kindly declined the offer initially to even interview. But, you know, just learning to always appreciate, you know, people thinking about you or even putting you in that place. You know, I kindly sent them a text saying, you know, thank you for thinking about me. I really appreciate it. And he reached back out and was like, I really think that you should interview. So I was just like, all right, this guy's basically telling me I should interview. He's my boss, so I'm gonna interview. And sure enough, you know, within a month, I get the job. So it was very non-traditional from declining the interview process to now becoming a coach. But, you know, I'm very grateful and blessed, and to have, you know, the summer league staff, to be able to have my GM, you know, push for me to interview and just be able to have this opportunity.
Yeah, that's such a cool story. I love that. And Caden, you have quite the extensive NBA resume as well. You worked at NBA Summer League, Fox Sports, and then the LA Clippers. And now you're with XPRIZE. Can you talk to us about your journey and what led you to your position now?
Yeah, there's been a lot of left turns in my journey, sort of unexpected. I started off going to school at Texas because I wanted to be a journalist, specifically sports journalist, the largest sports school in the nation. Like, I want to tell these stories. Growing up, sports helped me escape from things. And I thought, well, I'm not very good at playing them, so let me see if there's a workaround. So I want to try to just connect to people in their home. I thought it could help improve their day just a little bit. Worked with the Texas basketball team, was pretty lucky there. Was one real connection, kind of like a summer league circle, Kirk Goldsberry. He introduced me to Albert and Warren, and so got the gig, but still not really sure what I want to do. I thought I was going to be a journalist, but then thrown into summer league, introduced to this whole new world. We're like, oh, this storytelling ability doesn't need to just be journalism. You could do social media, you could do video creation, you could do hosting things like it. I didn't even know that was possible. So working for Summer League, I was like, wait, this is like a complete foundational shift. After that, I met Dennis. I'm going to blank on his last name right now, but he works for the Clippers. And I was like, oh, PR people. They're kind of like facilitating the stories, amplifying the message. And I realized that's cool. That's something that a field I didn't know existed. Fortunately, I was able to land an interview, worked with the Clippers for 2 years, a communications assistant. And that was just working in the NBA. You really learn what you're capable of. You're working so many hours and you're just refining your work ethic. And like, it was an experience I wouldn't have changed, but at the core of everything I wanted to do, it was about telling stories and help change people's day a little bit. I was looking for a new opportunity and clicked on this shady LinkedIn advertisement for a job, but I didn't know what I was clicking. The salary was in the range I was looking for. Like, let's give it a shot. Quick, one click, and it turned out to be this non-profit named XPRIZE. And what they do is they have these competitions, these multi-million-dollar, $10, $20 million competitions where our researchers identify where tech breakthroughs are needed, but the technology doesn't exist yet, whether that's in climate fight, saving the rainforest, and then they'll be like, all right, we find a sponsor, teams, a call to the world. If you could create this technology and reach these goals in 4 or 5 years, you're going to get $10 million. And that kind of went back to my original point of getting into sports. I just wanted to help people's day and improve their lives bit by bit. And this felt like, you know what, this is a worthy cause. Sports are my love, sports are my passion, but this felt like an opportunity I couldn't pass up. So that's why I left sports, but it felt like for the right reason.
Oh, absolutely.
I gotta ask Caden a question. Caden, I've always wondered this. How is it working for the Clippers, but also the Lakers being in the same facility? Like the turnover, like the fans, like how was that experience?
All right. I've been a Clipper fan since I was growing up. I'm one of the few, there's dozens of us, but it is completely different audiences. I know there's a lot of, I'll throw some shade. There's a lot of pretentiousness with the Lakers fandom, but Clippers fans, they're not obsessed as much. They're just worried about their team. And the audiences you're trying to reach from a marketing communications perspective is so different. There's just the demographics shift. So you're not, yes, it is competitive, but LA is so massive. There's so many different people to reach. Like, there's still a lot of free agents out there. You could grab them.
Well, I saw a little thing on Twitter. I don't know if it's true, but someone said that the Lakers and the Clippers might be in the same hotel. Can anyone confirm that? If not, if they are, how's that going down? What do you think?
Well, oh, what? I don't know. I mean, I'm 2 years removed. I can't speak now a little bit. I feel like I'm overstepping some bounds. But, as long as no one calls that hotline and lies about Kawhi or Paul George out in the middle of Disney World where they were in their hotel room, we'll be fine.
I love it. That hotline. And they've got those smart rings I think they're going to wear to track them for coronavirus. I mean, this whole thing, I love it. Like the innovation, it's just really cool to watch it unfold. So that'll be exciting to see. What do you guys think about the season coming back?
So for me, it's twofold. Obviously, I'm happy it's coming back. I think it'll be very interesting and good for the league and the fans, just because it's something different, right? So you have these. It's not the traditional playoffs, right? And you have all these teams in one bubble, and you have more West teams than East. So now it's more likely going to be more competitive. And it's just something different. It's more of a March Madness feel to it this year. And I think that the fans will really gravitate to that. Now, on the flip side, my concern would just be, you see guys like, Kyrie Irving. You see guys like Avery Bradley, Dwight Howard coming out with these messages basically stating like, we don't agree with, the NBA coming back from a health perspective. And not only a health perspective, but just from, a worldview, right, of all the things that are going on, with Black Lives Matter and, police brutality. So I would just be interested in seeing, if guys choose not to go to the bubble market, what consequence, like, is there a consequence? Because technically, I mean, a guy like Dwight can say, I'm fearing for my health, right? Like COVID is still out there. I don't feel safe. And can you really fine a guy or hold a guy hostage for that? So I think that's the only thing the NBA will really, deal with in terms of, guys going to compete. So that would be my only concern. But from a fan perspective, I think, it'll be good for the fans to see something new.
Absolutely. And I know a lot of the players want to finish out to give back to their communities. They're like, let me do this so I can go help my community. So absolutely.
That's a real interesting point, Payton, about to your point. When it was just COVID, everyone wanted to come back and figure out a way to play. But now with the social unrest and the fight for equality, the conversation has shifted so much. And I, as an Orange County white guy, do not have the proper opinion to weigh in on certain things like this. But from the communications perspective, it seems to be one conversation is it worth not? So if you don't play, do you focus all the attention? You keep the conversation going and not try to lose the momentum? Or if you do play, does that help amplify your voice and your message and your superstars and your stars and allow their voices to be even magnified because you're the only thing on TV? It's really interesting. That's way above my pay grade. I'm not the person to think about it, but from a fan, I think the NBA has been really creative and clever in how they're going about it. And they're always focused on the player's safety and everyone's health, which is very clear in all their messaging. I hope it comes back, but if no one wants to play for other reasons, for their health, for everything else, totally get it too.
Sure.
Absolutely. And Caden, earlier you mentioned that you are out of sports now, but what you kind of seemed to me as if you've got teams, you've got competitions. I mean, what is it like in the tech industry competitions? How is that compared to sports teams competitions?
So exactly, you're right. It is similar to sports where there's teams and stuff, but working at Summer League, working at the Clippers, working at Fox Sports, the NBA and all the other sporting leagues, you're not really telling conversations about, team, the Clippers beat the Lakers. No, it's really more the human element is what the NBA is great at, and that's what we're trying to do over with XPRIZE. We're trying to shed the light of the people creating this technology or the impact it's going to have on millions. It's not just about the competition. It's about so much more. It's about the community. It's about the legacy. It's about the individual. And that's what I learned while working at Summer League is you're not trying to say all the time, all right, D'Angelo Russell had 24 points on 8 of 12 shooting. No, that's not going to connect with a wide range of people. So you have to learn how to appeal to their emotions. I think I was able to refine that through my time. And now it's what I'm trying to do here. There are heroes trying to fight climate change, trying to change things. Oh, I shot that. I haven't seen this footage in so long. Oh my God, what a flashback. But this is just going back, it's a lot more than just the competition. And that's what sports is great at. And that's the skill it kind of taught me beyond as I kind of evolve my career.
Yeah, I think that's important to have that element of giving back and feeling like what you're doing is making a difference. So I just think that's so exciting, and I'm excited to see what you do in that role. And we all have that common denominator of summer league, kind of getting our start. I know we've all mentioned that that's really where your career takes off. Or like you said, you figure out the foundation of what you want to do. There's so much you can do down there aside from sports. I mean, there's the business aspect, there's nutrition, the aspect of helping players and stuff. Can you guys talk a little bit about those specific experiences of where summer league kind of made you hone in on, oh, this is where I want to go with my career?
I'll let you go first, Caden.
Oh, okay. I think I spoke on it earlier, and I thought I had an idea of what I wanted to do as a journalist, and then you see what else is possible. So it kind of makes you think about yourself and reflect a little on what your skill set is, what you're capable of doing, and then being amendable with your dreams and sort of like, okay, I could do this all right a little bit, and there's going to be a career opportunity somewhere. With summer league, it was, for me, it was filming and interviewing. So it's just talking to people, talking to these players. And I think when you start getting thrown into each new work environment, you take a little what you do like and you take a little what you don't like. And because of the pace of summer league, you have to learn quickly.
I saw in an interview you called it a sprint, and I love that. It is just a 14-day or however many day sprint, working your butt off. And yeah, perfectly said.
A lot, but it's
yeah, for me, and not to steal your answer, Kaden, but it's somewhat similar. You know, so I always knew that, you know, relationships were huge, you know, networking, connections, you know, if you're going to make it in almost anything, but more than ever sports. So, you know, I worked for the Milwaukee Bucks and I was in basketball operations. And my first year there, I didn't really know what that entailed. And, you know, being able to come to summer league and, you know, meet a wide variety of different people and hold those, you know, networking opportunities and hold those connections to help me understand what else is out there as well. You know, and just to have a shoulder to lean on, you know, is always huge, especially for us, you know, as millennials, to be able to, you know, like I said, just have that real world experience from someone that's older and has already been through it. And, you know, I just really enjoy building the relationships. Like, I just feel like, you know, my second year, I really took a leap because I was comfortable with everybody I knew. I was working directly with Lauren Rivers and, you know, talking to the media people, making sure, you know, when interviews needed to be held, we had the people there when they needed to be there, autographs, making sure, you know, fans weren't touching, you know, Taco Fall, you know, and point them in the right direction. This is probably my favorite memory, you know, and I know Lauren can probably agree. The line for Taco Fall was just probably from, you know, our hotel or the strip to UNLV. Like, it was just so long, but to see our work, you know, come full circle, even getting the basketball signed, like, but being able to be comfortable with talking to high level professionals, and just understand they're the same as us. You know what I mean? They're just people. So just being able to talk to them and making them feel comfortable as well. Because, you know, these athletes and these agents, they're not going to trust everybody, right? Everybody wants a piece of what they have. So just being able to build those relationships and, you know, being able to communicate is what I learned.
Ooh, it's crazy what summer league shows you're capable of. And then it's nice because it's 14 days. It is a sprint. You get the immediate return of, okay, this works. This didn't work. But I love what you said about kind of communicating with people and how they are like all of us. Before going to summer league, you only see these individuals, these athletes, these commentators, these coaches on TV, and so you kind of glorify them a little bit. And what summer league does is a great job. Like, you get introduced to them for the first time, and you realize they're just normal people. But then you get a lot of reps of talking to them and like figuring out your conversational abilities. I think the first time when I was trying to film something for Shaq's birthday, I went up to Isaiah Thomas because we need to get like a 15-second clip. I asked Isaiah, "Do you need a brief? Do you know what you need to do?" And he looked at me and said, "I'm a professional. I got it." And that's one of my least favorite memories. And I don't even know what the point of that story was. We're just talking about summer league and interacting with these people who are glorified, but like, they are normal. Like, they know what they're doing too. At the same time, there's a lot of lessons to be learned, and it happens so fast.
No, and it's crazy. You're with these professionals, but honestly, a lot of them even got their start at Summer League. You know, like it's crazy to be like rubbing shoulders with these people, but you're in this atmosphere and really they all started out somewhere too. So yeah, Summer League's incredible. Greatest starting point. I appreciate you guys and all your stories and just getting to talk life updates with you guys. It's been so awesome to have you guys on today. So I appreciate you being here.
For sure.
Thanks for having
Caden. Really appreciate you. It was a pleasure having you on as well, Caden. You have some great stories. I still think you know something about this LA and this Lakers and Clippers whole bubble thing. So we'll let you slide this time. We're gonna let you off the hook.
Off the record, we'll talk. Off the record, I might have some ideas.
All right, well, I also want to thank Albert Hall and Hall Pass Media for giving us this opportunity. Hall Pass Media has some incredible web shows with Basketball Jones with Mark Jones, Pickup Game with Seth Greenberg, Sports Business Classroom. You can check them all out at hallpassnetwork.com/web shows and then /. Make sure you've got that /. But again, I really appreciate you guys hopping on. You guys are so awesome. I'm excited to see what you do in your roles and how life starts to come back to normal. And I just know you guys will be great. So stay safe and stay healthy.
Thanks, Payton. You too.